Are you eating healthy, cutting calories, maybe even trying keto, and yet your weight isn't moving, your energy is unstable, and your cravings keep pulling you back? Here's what's really going on inside your body. For most people, the problem isn't calories. It's confusion around what actually triggers insulin and blocks fat burning. You can be eating low carb and still not be in ketosis. You can be avoiding sugar and still keeping your body stuck in fat storage mode. Let me explain this simply. Your body has two primary fuel systems. One runs on glucose, sugar. The other runs on fat, including stored body fat. But here's the catch. Insulin is the switch. When insulin is elevated, even slightly, your body cannot efficiently burn fat, and many so-called keto-friendly foods still stimulate insulin just enough to slow or completely block ketosis. That's why today we're simplifying everything. This is not about complicated macros or tracking every gram. This is about a zero-carb food framework. Foods that keep insulin low, stabilize your metabolism, and allow your body to finally access fat as fuel. By the end of this, you'll understand which foods truly keep you in ketosis, why protein and hidden carbs can sabotage results, and how to build a simple, repeatable system for fat burning and metabolic health. Let's start with one of the biggest mistakes people make on keto. They think low carb means no insulin response. But here's what's really going on inside your body. Even small amounts of carbohydrates, especially the ones hidden in keto-friendly foods, can raise insulin just enough to shut down fat burning. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of insulin like a light switch. It's not a dimmer, it's not gradual, it's either telling your body, store fat or burn fat. Now, many people assume that as long as they're under 20-30 grams of carbs, they're safe. But your body doesn't read food labels. It responds to total metabolic load, including hidden sugars in sauces and dressings, net carb products filled with sugar alcohols, processed keto snacks that still trigger insulin. What the research shows is that even small glucose elevations can pause ketone production, especially in the early stages of adaptation. Your body is extremely sensitive to changes in blood sugar when learning to burn fat, so you might be doing everything right, but those small inputs are keeping you stuck. Now here's the solution, and this is where zero carb becomes powerful. Instead of guessing, you eliminate the guesswork. You focus on foods that have virtually zero impact on insulin. Animal-based proteins like beef, lamb, eggs, pure fats like butter, ghee, tallow, fatty cuts of meat that naturally contain no carbs. These foods create metabolic clarity, no spikes, no confusion, no hidden inputs. Your body can finally relax into fat-burning mode. And here's the key takeaway. I want you to remember this. It's not just about eating fewer carbs, it's about removing the signals that keep insulin elevated. If this is making sense so far, consider subscribing. Because once you understand how insulin really works, everything about nutrition becomes simpler. Most people come into a low-carb or keto lifestyle thinking, if carbs are low, I'll just eat more protein. Sounds logical. But metabolically, it can quietly stall your results. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Protein does not act like fat. While fat has almost no insulin response, protein does stimulate insulin, not as aggressively as carbs, but enough to matter when your goal is ketosis. And there's another layer most people miss. Your body can convert excess protein into glucose. This process is called gluconeogenesis. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body is extremely intelligent, like a backup generator system. If you don't provide enough glucose, but you provide extra protein, your body says, perfect, I'll convert this into sugar just in case. That means even if you're not eating carbs, you can still be creating glucose internally. And when glucose rises, insulin follows. And when insulin rises, fat burning slows. Now, to be clear, protein is essential. It supports muscle, hormones, enzymes, immune function. The goal is not to eliminate protein. The goal is to right-size it. Here's a simple, practical protocol. Aim for moderate protein intake, not high. Roughly 0.8 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of ideal body weight. Focus on fatty cuts of meat, not lean protein sources. Avoid constantly snacking on protein throughout the day instead of building your plate around protein. Build it around fat, with protein as a supporting player. For example, ribeye steak instead of chicken breast, eggs with butter instead of egg whites, lamb chops instead of lean beef. This naturally balances your intake without overthinking. And here's the key takeaway I want you to remember. Too little protein is a problem, but too much can quietly keep you out of ketosis. Once you get this balance right, something powerful happens. Your hunger stabilizes, your energy becomes steady, and your body starts trusting fat as its primary fuel. Now let's move into the next piece. And this is where everything begins to click. Because if protein isn't the main fuel, then what is? So if carbs raise insulin, and too much protein can slow ketosis, then what is your body actually designed to run on? Fat. And this is where many people struggle, not because it's complicated, but because it challenges everything they've been taught. For decades, we were told, fat makes you fat. But here's what's really going on inside your body. Dietary fat does not spike insulin. And without insulin elevation, your body stays in a fat-burning state. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your metabolism like a hybrid car. It can run on two fuels. Sugar, quick, unstable, limited. Fat, slow, stable, abundant. Most people are stuck in sugar-burning mode, constantly refueling, constantly crashing. But when you shift to fat, you unlock a long-lasting, steady energy system. And here's the powerful part. When you eat fat, your body doesn't immediately store it. Instead, in a low-insulin environment, it says, energy is abundant. I can also start using stored fat. This is why people experience stable energy, no crashes, reduced hunger, mental clarity, gradual, sustainable fat loss. What the research shows is that low-carb, high-fat approaches can improve insulin sensitivity, support metabolic flexibility, and increase fat oxidation, especially when carbs are minimized. Now let's make this practical. Here's how to use fat correctly on a zero-carb framework. Choose natural, whole fats. Butter, ghee, beef tallow, lamb fat, egg yolks. Prioritize fatty cuts of protein. Ribeye steak, ground beef, higher fat percent. Lamb chops, chicken thighs with skin. Don't fear adding fat, especially early on. When transitioning, your body needs time to adapt. Adding fat helps reduce cravings and stabilize energy. But here's an important nuance. Eat fat to satiety, not excessively. This is not about drinking oils or forcing fat intake. It's about replacing carbs with natural fat so your body has a clean fuel source. If this is clicking for you, consider subscribing, because once you understand fat as fuel, everything about energy, hunger, and weight starts to make sense. And here's the key takeaway. Fat doesn't make you fat. Insulin does. Control insulin, and fat becomes your greatest metabolic ally. Now let's go deeper, because even with perfect food choices, there's one organ that determines whether ketosis actually works or not. Now let's go deeper, because even if your food is perfect, if this one organ isn't working properly, ketosis becomes difficult. Your liver. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Ketosis does not happen in your muscles. It does not happen in your fat cells. Ketosis happens in the liver. Your liver is responsible for converting fat into ketones, regulating blood sugar, processing toxins, managing glycogen storage. So, if your liver is sluggish, inflamed, or overloaded, your ability to produce ketones drops, even if you're eating zero carbs. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your liver like a factory. Fat comes in as raw material. Ketones go out as usable energy. But if the factory is congested with toxins, excess sugar, processed foods, alcohol, or chronic stress, production slows down. Or worse, it becomes inefficient. This is why two people can eat the same diet, and one gets into ketosis quickly, while the other struggles. What the research shows is that conditions like fatty liver and insulin resistance impair the liver's ability to efficiently produce and export ketones. So instead of just focusing on food, we need to support the liver directly. Here's a simple, actionable protocol. Reduce liver burden. Eliminate sugar and processed foods. Avoid seed oils and ultra-processed snacks. Minimize alcohol. Use fasting strategically. Fasting gives your liver time to deplete glycogen, reset insulin levels, increase ketone production. Start simple. 12 to 14-hour overnight fast. Gradually extend to 16 hours if comfortable. Support detox pathways. Stay hydrated. Ensure adequate electrolytes, sodium, potassium, magnesium. Prioritize sleep. This is when liver repair accelerates. Use nutrient-dense, liver-supportive foods. Egg yolks, rich in choline. Red meat, B vitamins, iron. Natural fats, support bile production. And here's the key takeaway I want you to lock in. If the liver is overwhelmed, fat burning is limited. Fix the liver, and ketosis becomes natural, not forced. Now here's where most people overcomplicate things. Because even with all this science, they still struggle to stay consistent. Now here's where everything starts to come together. Because the biggest mistake people make isn't lack of knowledge, it's overcomplication. Too many food options, too many recipes, too many keto-friendly products. And what happens? Decision fatigue, inconsistency, and eventually, failure. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Your metabolism thrives on consistency. When you give your body the same clean inputs over and over, it becomes more efficient at burning fat, regulating hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin, stabilizing insulin, producing steady energy. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your metabolism like a machine learning system. The more consistent the input, the better the output. But when you constantly change foods, snack randomly, or experiment daily, your body never fully adapts. That's why a zero-carb framework works so well. Not because it's restrictive, but because it removes noise. It gives your body a clear, repeatable signal. Stay in fat-burning mode. So instead of chasing variety, we focus on simplicity and repetition. Here's your practical zero-carb food list. Core foods. Build your meals around these. Beef, ribeye, ground beef, steaks. Lamb, eggs, whole, not just whites. Chicken thighs, with skin. Fish, especially fatty fish. Pure fats, add as needed. Butter, ghee, beef tallow, lamb fat. Optional add-ons, minimal, based on tolerance. Organ meats, liver, kidney, highly nutrient-dense. Bone broth for electrolytes and collagen. That's it. No labels, no tracking apps, no confusion, just real food that keeps insulin low. Now here's how to structure your day. Simple protocol. 2 meals per day, no snacking. Eat until satisfied, not stuffed. Prioritize fat, plus moderate protein. Keep meals consistent for at least 2 to 3 weeks. This allows your body to fully adapt. If this is helping simplify things for you, consider subscribing. Because real health doesn't come from complexity. It comes from clarity and consistency. And here's the key takeaway. Simplicity is not restriction. It's metabolic precision. Now let's move into the final piece. Because even if you eat perfectly, there's one factor that can accelerate or completely block your results, and most people ignore it. Now let's bring everything together with a factor that most people overlook. Timing. Because it's not just what you eat, it's when you eat that determines whether your body stays in fat-burning mode. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every time you eat, even zero-carb foods, you trigger insulin. Now, the response is much smaller compared to carbs, but it's still a signal. And if you're eating frequently, snacking, grazing, constant small meals, your insulin never fully drops. And if insulin doesn't drop, your body never fully switches into deep fat burning and ketosis. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of fat burning like accessing your savings account. Every time insulin rises, it's like locking that account. And every time insulin drops, you unlock access to stored energy. But if you're constantly eating, you keep locking and unlocking, never staying open long enough to actually use the fuel. This is where fasting and meal timing become powerful tools. What the research shows is that periods of low insulin created through fasting increase fat oxidation, improve insulin sensitivity, and support metabolic flexibility. Now let's make this simple and practical. Step 1. Eliminate snacking. No calories between meals. Let insulin fully drop. Step 2, compress your eating window. Start with 2 meals per day, 12 to 14-hour fasting window, then progress to 16 to 8, 16 hours fasting, 8-hour eating window. Step 3, time your meals strategically. First meal when truly hungry, not out of habit. Last meal at least 3 to 4 hours before sleep. This supports better insulin control, improved sleep quality, enhanced fat burning overnight. Step 4, combine with zero-carb foods. This is where the magic happens. Low insulin from food, plus extended low insulin from fasting, deep ketosis and efficient fat burning. And here's the key takeaway. If you want your body to burn fat, you must give it time without insulin. Food quality sets the stage, but timing unlocks the full effect. So let's bring this all together, simply and clearly. If you've been struggling with energy, weight, or consistency, it's not because your body is broken. It's because your metabolism has been getting mixed signals. Here's what we've uncovered. Even small carbs can keep insulin elevated. Too much protein can quietly turn into glucose. Fat is your body's clean, stable fuel. Your liver controls whether ketosis actually happens. Simplicity creates consistency, and consistency creates results. And timing determines whether fat burning is fully activated. When you align all of these, something powerful happens. Your hunger stabilizes, your energy becomes steady, your body finally starts accessing stored fat naturally. This is not about extreme dieting. It's about removing interference and letting your biology work the way it was designed to. So here's your challenge. Pick just one change from today's video. Maybe it's removing snacks, simplifying your meals, or focusing on true zero-carb foods, and track how your body responds over the next few days. Because when you start listening to your body instead of fighting it, everything changes. If this added value to your life, like the video and subscribe, and join a community of people who are optimizing their health naturally, one simple step at a time.